particularly appreciate the reference you made earlier to the Commuter Rail Passenger Safety Act, which makes clear that RIF funding, $30 billion of it is available to commuter railroads. So my question is, Mr. Reyes, did you say earlier that New Jersey Transit's going to meet the 2018 deadline?
We've met with New Jersey Transit, as we have met with all the other commuter railroads in the country. We were informed by New Jersey Transit that they believe they can meet the December 31st, 2018 deadline. However,
you mean the conditions for extending that deadline or the deadline?
No, the deadline that is required.
Have they accessed the RIF financing? I don't believe they have they?
I'm sorry.
Has New Jersey Transit accessed any Railroad Rehabilitation Improvement Fund financing to accomplish PTC implementation? And if not, how they going to do it?
I believe New Jersey Transit has applied and obtained funds. I could get back to you on the exact amount. I have a breakdown of some of the other railroads, but not particular to New Jersey Transit.
On those other railroads, because my time's limited because votes have been called, what's the status of Long Island Railroad and Metro North? They did access, MTA did access $1 billion of RIF financing.
Right.
What's the story there?
So, okay, so MTA, which is Long Island Railroad and Metro North, they applied for and obtained a RIF loan of $967 million. They are working diligently on, and they did come in also as New Jersey Transit came in. They have not stated that they have not asked for any extension. The railroads, especially the commuters, we're having them come back in, even though we saw them in the first place because we're working with them every month. I mean, sometimes we have 2 and 3 railroads come in a day for hours of for meetings of 2 hours or more. And we're trying to push them to.
Mr. Reyes, are they going to meet the deadline or not?
This is February of 2018. Right now, they've presented a plan that they say they will be able to make the deadline.
Do you believe that plan?
I'm working with them. I'm not willing to give up on any railroad, and we will push them to meet the deadlines.
You're not willing to give up on them? Does that mean you think they're going to meet the deadline or not?
All the railroads that have come in to meet with us have told us they're looking to meet the deadline. We're going to work with them and do everything possible.
Next time you have one of those meetings, you should mention the name Jimmy Lovell, who's the guy who got killed in Spuyten Duyvil on December 1st, 2013. He got on the train in Cold Spring, New York that morning to go work on the lighting at the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. I know that because his wife works for me for years. His kids, Jack and Hudson and Finn, go to school with my kids. He doesn't come home anymore because that preventable accident happened that day. And that was 4.5 years ago, and we're 10 years into this, and we've provided the financing. That's why we take this seriously, because we represent people who are losing their lives. 300 deaths in the last few decades, right? 6,800 injuries. And so, sir, it's your job to make sure these railroads meet these deadlines. We have provided the financing. We have provided grants. So we are watching this really closely, but we're counting on you not give up on them, but to hold their feet to the fire. Do you understand why we're a little impatient on this?
2017 was the first year that fines were assessed against the railroads. That was a shot across the bow to the railroads to tell them we're serious and we want them and we're going to push them to get this implemented. And that's why Secretary Chow on December 27, 2017 issued a letter saying that we're very serious about this and this is something that needs to happen. And that's why we met with every single railroad, 41 railroads in 45 days, to tell them this is something that needs to happen now.
All right, well, we appreciate your diligence on that. In the time I have left, the subject of grade crossing accidents came up. It's particularly interesting to me that we don't use, that there's no conversation of motion-activated cameras or sensors at grade crossings, particularly in the conversation of PTC. As important as PTC is, right, you know, it's not going to do anything about a grade crossing accident if there's an object in the train. My Republican colleagues went through a horrific accident just a few days ago, an example of where you got a vehicle on the tracks. Is there any conversation about why we don't use inexpensive motion-activated camera technology? I mean, my God, operators of trains could have an app on their phone. You can look at the weather on most high schools in America and see the camera. It's a free app. You can access it on your phone. The cameras are inexpensive. Why on earth wouldn't we, maybe in conjunction with weather stations, have simple digital camera technology, maybe linked to motion detection, which, by the way, you can put in your home for $100, or a Ring, doorbell. Why wouldn't we give operators the ability to on their own phones access that video as a way to see what's ahead of them on the track so they can stop in time? Has anybody talked about that? Maybe Mr. Skoutelis?
I'd ask for a quick response.
I'm sorry. I've not heard that discussion at all. I mean, the typical protection is a four-way crossing gates to try to avert that kind of damage and accident. But what you're describing, no, I'm not familiar with that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.